Connie with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Thanks for joining me for a Make It in Minutes video. I've actually got 3 different cards, but the design is all the same, and I just got creative with some embossing folders. I think you guys are really going to like these cards today, so let's get started. We'll talk about the cardstock and the stamp sets that you need to create it. The stamp set I'm going to use for my card today is the Sweet Sentiment stamp. I'm loving this one. I've got a lot of different options with it, but hey, remember, it is just a sentiment stamp. If you've got a favorite set, this is a great card to pull it out with. Now we're going to be using different embossing folders. This is another one of those opportunities. Use those embossing folders that you have. As long as they match the sentiment, you're going to be great. So I'm going to be using the Happy Hearts embossing folder for mine. And now let's talk about the cardstock. Again, color choices. As you can see, we have a lot of different cards here, but the one I'm going to actually be creating for you is Pink Pirouette, and I have that cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then I also have Blushing Bride, and this piece is 3 3/4 by 4 inches. Again, you're just going to want to find a nice coordinating color. I have another piece of Pink Pirouette that is 1 inch by 3.5 inches. And then I think the thing that really polishes off the card is going to be the gold or the silver foil. I think this just makes the card. You're going to need 2 pieces. I have one that's 1/4 inch by 4 inches, and my other piece here is 1/2 inch by 3.5. We're going to begin with some stamping because I want to make sure I have this piece of cardstock cut to the size that's going to work with my stamp. So I'm going to use the Love is in the Airmail, and you can see if your sentiment were a little bit bigger, you might have to trim this one down. So that we want to go ahead and do that stamping first so we know. So I have got, this is the 3 3/4 inch here, and the 4 inches is going down. So let's go ahead and stamp our Love is in the Airmail. This is in Blushing Bride. Now we're ready to emboss our cardstock. Now my embossing folder actually has a pattern. I have to make sure I'm going the right way. Some of the other cards, it's not going to matter, but this one it does. So go ahead, look at it on your card first. Let's bring it into the embossing folder because we don't want sideways hearts. That's not going to work. So let's go ahead. We're just going to line that up in the embossing folder. We're going to run that through the Big Shot. I've got that embossed. Now comes the fun part. One thing I love about dry embossing is you can choose to have the hearts raised, or you can choose to flip it over and kind of go with a not a totally different look, but it's more debossed. So make your choice of which way you would like that to go. I'm going to go with Fast Fuse. Whenever I'm doing embossing, because the embossing kind of makes the paper uneven, I find Fast Fuse to be one of the best adhesives because you know what? We don't want that image falling off. So let's go ahead. We're going to adhere that down. Now let's go ahead and work with that 1 inch by 3.5 inch piece of Pink Pirouette. I'm going to bring in my triple banner punch. I'm going to slide in that cardstock as far as it'll go. And I love that I get perfect banners every time. We're now going to take that embossing folder again. And this time we are going to emboss just this banner. Now this is kind of fun because this is where you're going to get to decide exactly what's going to be embossed. So depending on your embossing folder, take a few extra seconds and make sure you have what you want there. Let's go ahead and run that through. There we go. So see how that kind of gives us that double heart look. And now let's come in with our silver foil pieces. Now this piece that was the 1/2 inch, I'm going to bring my triple banner punch in, but you see it's way too big. So I'm going to flip it over, and you can see I'm just going to kind of grab the end. There we go. So we get a nice little banner. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat because I don't want to get that Fast Fuse all over my workspace. I'm going to put some Fast Fuse right here on the end, and I'm going to adhere these 2 banners together. And the reason I wanted to use my silicone mat is I'm going to have more adhesive and I don't want to stick. I'm going to stick to my surface. So I've got that down. I'm now going to come in. I'll add a little more Fast Fuse. Let me add a little here to the bottom of the banner. Let's go ahead and attach this to our card. I'm now going to attach some Fast Fuse down that gold or that silver strip. And we're just going to line that up here with our embossed image. Now I do want to point something out. Because I was using that Fast Fuse, you can see I kind of got it a little bit on that foil paper. I'm just going to come in with my adhesive remover. I can take that right off. Now the card is sweet, but it does need a little something. I'm going to come in with the metallic shapes. I love these. I use them all the time. We're going to add 3 hearts to just kind of polish off our heart theme we have going on here. We'll just attach a few of those. And there you have it. Let me bring in the other cards that I did. So I've got one for the guys. We got to have that. I've got one for the girls. And then I just have a nice one that you could send to someone you love. So guys, there we go. Another Make It in Minutes. I hope you enjoyed that one. I love how these turned out. Like I said, just creating these cards, pulling out those embossing folders and having some fun. I really, really had a good time with these. And I do love the Sweet Sentiment stamp set for this one. It worked out just perfect. Now listen, if you'd like to see more photos, maybe get an idea of what embossing folders I used on these cards, no problem. Head over to simplysimplestamping.com. Look for the February 15th, 2017 blog post. I'll have everything there for you. And if you'd like to order any of the supplies I used, I've made it really easy. Just click a pic. It'll take you right to my online store. Order what you need and you will have it shipped right to your door and you'll be stamping before you know it. Well guys, that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the projects today and enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for being a part and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.